Hello, everyone. Welcome to Comicbook.com's official Pokemon podcast. A wild podcast has appeared. As you might notice, if you are a previous listener or watcher of the show, I'm alone on this couch, though we still have Christian Hoffer to the side. Jim Viscardi has abandoned us. Hoffer, how do you feel?
Relieved, mostly. It means I can finally bear my true feelings for things like Graveler, Lieutenant Surge.
Yes.
Basically, this episode of the podcast is going to have 100% less terrible opinions than usual.
Wow. Okay. So just to quickly catch everyone up, Jim Viscardi is one of our co-hosts here at this show. He is currently not here. He is on a super secret special trip to Los Angeles, I believe. So it's just me and Hoffer here today. So basically, We're here to talk to you about some really important things. We break this show down into 3 sections, as I would like to put it. We begin with doing a news breakdown of all the Pokemon things you could want to know: merchandise, mobile games, the anime, video games, Sword and Shield, obviously. Then we take a quick break, come back with a really in-depth focus. This week it will be on Ash Ketchum winning a regional Pokemon League. And then the fan favorite part, as Christian Hoffer always comes in and succeeds every week, giving us a Pokefact of the week that will surely leave us traumatized, won't it?
Yep, this one's another dark one.
All right, well, with that, let's take a quick break and we'll be back in a second. All right, so we have a lot of news to talk about this week, Hoffer, which is great because it's just the two of us. Great opinions. There's going to be no talk of Geodude this week.
Yep, not a single ounce. This is the all Bulbasaur, all Vaporeon episode of A Wild Podcast has appeared. Of course, we have other things to talk about. There's some. It was like I was a little bit worried. Going into this weekend, is there going to be a lot of Pokemon news? And then,
Suddenly, everything happened. Well, I mean, the first thing we got to talk about is about an hour before we got in here to record, we got a brand new Pokemon reveal for Pokemon Sword and Shield, but less Shield than we expect, Hoffer, is that right?
Yeah. So the new Pokemon is the long-awaited evolution of Farfetch'd. His name is Sirfetch'd. He is basically a knightly Pokemon. He runs around with a shield made of leek leaves and a big lance, which is also made of leek. However, he's exclusive to Pokemon Sword, which a lot of people were shocked by. I mean, Farfetch'd has always been a popular Pokemon. People have wanted to see him have more of an impact on the games, which it appears they will. But he's only going to be for Pokemon Sword, which is nuts.
That's so weird, especially because, a lot of people focus on Farfetch'd for reasons we will go over later. But, of all the Generation 1 characters, so many of them, or almost all of them, have gone either pre-evolutions or mega evolutions or just straight up evolutions or connected evolutions. We've waited for Farfetch'd. They've been teasing this evolution, this surprise evolution with a glitch on the website for a week now, which is smart. So they got everyone so excited and so hyped. And then they were like, but only half of you get it.
Yeah. And so that leads a lot of people to think that either Farfetch'd will get an alternative evolution, which I personally think is unlikely. If they would, we would have found out about it today. Mm-hmm. But their Pokemon will get some sort of Pokemon Shield.
So who are you hoping it is?
I honestly don't know. Because a lot of the Pokemon, I wouldn't mind seeing Pinsir get something. He's got a Mega Evolution, of course, but that would be kind of interesting. I'm trying to think of some other Pokemon that could fill that gap. Tauros would be another good one. Mm-hmm. I honestly maybe Mr. Mime, just wearing. I don't know, like
Victorian headgear or something, like Mr. Mime with those giant white wigs. I mean, I'm down for it.
I really feel like they missed their chance with Mr. Mime back when, Pokemon X and Y came out. Really, True. We should have had a Mr. Mime with a beret and
True.
holding a big French baguette. So I feel like they missed their opportunity. But, the Galar region is probably just across the Galarian channel from Kalos. So,
I mean, there's some cross pollination there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So
there's yeah, no, go ahead.
well, I was gonna ask you with Sirfetch'd, what's his type again? It's not.
He's a fighting type.
It's just fighting, right?
Yeah. Well, he's a chunky boy. Like, he weighs 257 pounds, and he's only 2'7". So he is the size of a toddler that weighs 257 pounds. I mean, that is a beefy Pokemon.
Is he just muscle?
Yeah, it's gotta be. I mean, otherwise he would make for the most delicious meal ever. Just 250 pounds of duck.
Dang. I feel like it would be kind of tough though. If he's just muscle, I'm not sure I'd want that.
Yeah. I think that's the point is that, he has basically evolved into just a protector of the weak and innocent. And he's like a super noble Pokemon too. The thing that cracked me up about it was in the official description, they're like, yeah, the Galar region loves Sirfetch'd because he's so noble. So he's the subject of all these paintings and portraits and stuff. And it's just yes, Sirfetch'd, the knightly standard which we all aspire.
I felt so bad. I tweeted this after the announcement went out. As I've never Farfetch'd is fine for me. It's just a Pokemon. I love the Pokemon in the anime because he's just the most obnoxious creature, and I'm that is me. But as soon as this Sirfetch'd was confirmed, I immediately started creating memes of Mean Girls from when Regina was stop trying to make fetch happen. It's never gonna happen. I just immediately started transposing the face of Sirfetch'd onto Regina George's face, and now I'm just desperate for is Mean Girls canon in the Pokemon universe?
Oh, 100% is. I mean,
Absolutely.
I was just thinking, people, this is a return to form for Pokemon Sword and Shield. They've had basically a meme-tacular set of Pokemon announced lately, and the internet has returned to being obsessed with it. I saw all these people sticking Naruto eyes onto the Rasengan and I was about to say I forget. It's been a little while since I've watched Naruto, but I've seen people sticking the different eyes and the different pupils on Sirfetch'd as it zooms into his face, just because he's got this kind of smug look, which I think is supposed to be more I am here to save the day, because he's a knight. He is a big beefy night bird of a Pokemon, and we love him so much.
So the real question is, who would win in a fight, Sirfetch'd or Corviknight?
Well, it would be Corviknight. Here's the thing: Corviknight is a flying type Pokemon, and flying type Pokemon have the advantage over fighting types. And so, by sacrificing his ability to fly, he cannot, protect himself from an attack from above.
Dang.
And also lances are hard, to stab upwards. You're not really supposed to do that. You're supposed to charge straight forward. And his big attack leaves him vulnerable too. He's got this new move called I think it's called Meteor Impact. And basically he just rushes at somebody with his lance, causes them to explode as he rushes by, and then stands there for a while.
Perfect.
So my head canon is that because when you use that move, he can't take a move afterwards. It's kind of like the opposite of Solar Beam, where Solar Beam you have Hyper Beam. No, does Hyper Beam do that?
Have the charging round?
But not a charging round, but a post I can't do anything afterwards.
I don't think it
round.
does.
I was about to say, I know there's a few attacks out there that does it, and I just can't remember which ones. But my headcanon is that turn that it takes to recover, he's just standing there looking cool as waiting for the explosions to happen behind him.
So what you're telling me is, Hoffer, is you cannot wait for Sirfetch'd to use this move on a Geodude, correct?
Oh my god, yes. I mean,
Perfect.
that double explosions, because Geodudes explode anyways.
Yeah.
They have self-destruct. They're already suicidal.
Rough. Rough, Hoffer.
Just the gloves are off.
Gloves are off today. Jim Viscardi is going to come back to this podcast and be
Like,
Gun ho against Bulbasaur.
the 4 Geodude fans out there are listening and just sheer horror. They're
Oh,
like,
boy.
Jim, where's Jim to protect us?
He ain't here. But
It's a bold new era for a wild podcast has appeared.
that's true. Well, Jim might not be here to protect Geodude, but there are a lot of other Pokemon to talk about today. We have Sirfetch'd for Pokemon Sword. Sorry, Shield. But also Pokemon Go has had a huge release. We get a bunch of awesome Unova, Pokemon that are coming in. Some of them are regional. Break it down for me, Hoffer.
So we got over 40 Pokemon coming in to Pokemon Go, which is a lot. Like, you have to remember that the Gen 5 is actually the largest generation in terms of sheer number of Pokemon. There was over 156 Pokemon, I believe, that were put into. So, there's a lot. So they really went out there. They didn't seem to be like doing that little drip, drip, drip like they did for the Gen 4 rollout. They put in over 40 Pokemon, a lot of fan favorites. But 8 Pokemon are region exclusive. The 3 elemental monkeys, which I don't know anybody who likes the elemental monkeys. Just like sidebar really quick. Those are the dumbest, stupid Pokemon. I'm sorry. I can't stand them. I think, when people say, oh, the Pokemon company has gotten lazy with their Pokemon designs, the ones that actually made me man, they're struggling a little bit here, were those 3 monkeys. Just awful. But anyways, they're each exclusive to one of Pokemon Go's 3 continental regions. You have North and South America, you have Europe and Africa and the Middle East, and then you have the Asia Pacific region. So the elemental monkeys and their respective evolutions are each exclusive to one of those 3 regions. Also, Durant and Heatmore, which is the steel ant and the fire anteater, have been split up by hemisphere because Heatmore eats Durant, so they can never be together. Yeah. Yep, dark reasons.
That's a sad story.
Well, yeah, but that's the entire reason why it's got the ability to shoot fire out of its nose
thing, whatever that's called. Yeah. I'm not quite sure. It's snout.
Yeah, it's
we'll call it a snout.
Yeah, it's a snout. But yeah, it basically has a torch in its nose, so it can crack through the iron shell of Durant, so they can get to the juicy innards. Yeah.
Bold words. I will say this, though. So, obviously, of all the Pokemon mobile games, Pogo is my go-to. So, obviously, as soon as this was going out, I started looking for Pokemon. I really, at least personally, I haven't experienced really any glitches with the Pokemon. I've seen the occasional glitches with characters, like some graphics issues on, people online talking about it, but they don't look much different to me than just the normal glitches, which happen.
No.
So I've been impressed with that, especially given the scale. They just dropped 40 new Pokemon.
Yeah. No, the only setback that I've seen was actually today. So yesterday, when you're listening to this, they did they're supposed to do a legendary raid, legendary hour where all the bunch of raids happen, and they delayed it for some reason. We don't know why, but basically in New Zealand, the raid didn't happen. And then they tweeted out oh yeah, sorry about that, guys, technical difficulties.
I'm gonna blame. Is in New Zealand, you said?
Yeah, it's New Zealand, but I think they suspended it for everybody. It's a little bit unclear because they sent out some automatically pre-scheduled tweets hey guys, during the legendary raid today, remember to be respectful, which I think is mandated as part of the class action settlement.
Yep, that's definitely probably the case because those are more recent posts we've gotten. Well, I was about to say we gotta pause, and because in New Zealand, I was gonna say it's like ring wraiths or something. Sauron's coming back, Hobbiton's on fire, and they're trying to rescue everyone. That's the only thing. So I'm not gonna blame this one on Niantic. I'm gonna blame it specifically on Sauron.
Yep. It's unfortunately the 2 towers are in contact once again, and all of Middle Earth is in danger. And that is the reason why we didn't have any legendary raids.
Well, there you
We
go.
all wait for the beacons of Gondor to be lit.
Yeah, we're just waiting. Barring that aside, before we got on our Lord of the Rings tangent, you actually had a really great segue to our next topic because the legendary, raid, Mewtwo is coming back to some raids, and he's got a little new power that
Yes.
you seem rather excited about, Hoffer.
Well, so Mewtwo is kind of like the last, what they refer to as a generalist in Pokemon Go. He's basically a Pokemon that can be used just about anywhere. But as like the power creep happens throughout this game, people, there's now Pokemon that are more powerful than Mewtwo and can dish out more damage than Mewtwo. I mean, Mewtwo was always going to stay like in that like upper echelon, but when like Mega Rayquaza comes around, whenever that is. Like,
Yeah.
he's not going to hold a candle to that until they announce that they'd be adding Psystrike to the game. So Psystrike is Mewtwo's kind of signature move. And originally it had like some really like crappy stats, and they like updated. So basically, like now Psystrike moves really fast, and so the golden stat, damage per second, that like basically all Pokemon are judged by, for Mewtwo bounced way up, like I think into the 20s, very close to it. And so it's going to stay like the most powerful psychic type Pokemon in the game, and one of the most powerful Pokemon in the game, period. But you can only get the Psystrike Mewtwo from raids this week. You cannot go and use a charged HM, EM, excuse me, to switch over your existing Mewtwo's. So you only have a few more days to get it, because it'll go away next Monday.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend. I mean, I'm someone who, when I first caught my like raid Mewtwo's, like when they were first kind of rolling out, first like, oh, this is gonna be so great, and they were great for a while, and I've just noticed like, oh, he's kind of been struggling as of late, so he's definitely not on my roster of like when I'm doing like legit raids or anything like that, or God forbid like an EX raid. Like I'm not gonna pull Mewtwo out with me, but I really want one of these Mewtwo's, so
Yeah.
I'm really gonna need Sauron to chill so they can like stop delaying these raids. I also have to find time in my life to like go out, because like a lot of my friends who I was doing raids with as of late are either not in town right now or they've moved recently. That's always the worst thing about playing Pogo, is when your group like goes to the four corners of the wind. It's like, oh, come back.
They like I don't really have anybody to raid with either, and like the problem is like there is a really good raid spot that's not too far from where I live. Like I moved not too long ago, and the one of the big parks here in the city is within walking distance of me. But the issue is, it's like, do I really want to go down there and be like that weirdo who's just walking around the park all by myself? And I could bring my kid with me, which would make it a little bit less pathetic. But even he's like, after like 30 or 40 minutes, he's like, Dad, why are we being here?
I don't want to be here anymore.
Like, let's go to the playground instead. Stop being lame. And it's like, John, you're 4. You shouldn't even know what those words are. And he's like, but I do, and I'm judging you.
Wow, so that's pretty harsh. Yeah, not only is our office building here at Comicbook.com a gym, so we get raids frequently. There's also a park across from where I live, and like I used to never go because it's like very much a kid park, and so now I'm gonna have to break that, and I'm gonna have to bring my boyfriend with me just so I can be like, we're just a couple going on a cute casual date. But I am only strictly playing Pokemon, so we'll see how that goes.
At our phones, not at each other. The perfect idea for a date.
Perfect.
Yeah, no, I tried to get my wife back into Pokemon Go not too long ago, and like I managed to get her out of the house for like one of the events. It was the Clamperl like mini event, and she like participated about it. She's like, okay, this is fine. This is kind of okay, but like she was also just kind of like after an hour, I think she's like, I'm done. Like, how can you do this for more than like an hour? I was like, dedication, I guess.
Dedication and determination to be the very best, like no one ever was.
Exactly.
So to our next topic, we have some Pokemon merchandise to talk about, which I know Hoffer is a he has feelings about these figures. Some new Funkos have been announced, Funko Pop figures, and Pikachu's getting a new one. We've already gotten one before. It was a Target exclusive, and it was
We've got like
he's got like the big one that you can get.
Yeah.
Like the strict Funko Pop figures, not like the fancy lines of like A Day with Pikachu or stuff like that. Like the strict Funkos. He's getting another one. And Hoffer, the only difference is that he's waving. So I'm sure you're going to buy like 6 of these.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Behold, look, I have all of this Pokemon merchandise behind me, and just look at all the Funkos.
There's I almost can't even see you right now because of the sheer amount of Funkos. For you listening at home, there are no Funkos. Just to confirm.
I don't even have a Bulbasaur, Funko. That's how much I dislike the Funkos.
That's a true test of strength.
Yeah. So just to give some context, but this one I hear from what I've seen on the internet that the waving Pikachu will not be exclusive to Target, so that this one should be easier for people to get, because apparently that was a problem last time. Was that because it was exclusive to Target, not everyone has access to a Target. They would perennially sell out online. So apparently it made it a little bit difficult to obtain. But now that won't be a problem because you can get your waving Pikachu. I do like the fact that it's not just like standing around. I think that's 70% of my issue with a lot of the Funkos is that, frankly, they all look just too static for me. They've got their dumb face and then they're just like standing, and they look all identical other than the fact that they're wearing different clothes and they have different hairstyles. But really it's just like, lifeless dolls that are just basically look almost identical. So at least this one's doing something static. And I know they've changed. Like the Funko, whenever I bring this up, I get yelled at by Matt and Nick, both of whom are Funko aficionados. And they're like, no, that's how it used to be. They've changed. It's I get it. Some people like those, and I do not judge you if you like Funkos. Everyone needs some hobbies, and I cannot judge. Because once again, I have lots of collectible hobbies, but so this is good if you like Funkos.
It makes it accessible for people who want Pokemon merchandise who necessarily can't go to a Pokemon Center online or in person and blow $50 on a collectible FX figure. And I say this as someone who is an avid Funko collector. I am very much not ashamed of it. I have 80 something Funkos displayed in my house right now. There's so many, but I don't have any of the Pokemon ones. I agree. There's something about them that wicks me out, but the waving one I do like because he's a little bit motion. There's some motion to it, so.
It doesn't look quite as lifeless. And like I said, I the Funkos that I have come closest to skating on are those more dynamic ones where there's a good Captain Marvel figure where she's standing and she's got her fist up and she's floating off the ground.
Yes, I have that one.
that one actually looks cool. If I didn't already have my preconceptions of the Funkos from before that, that would be something I would probably like. I like I said, it's nothing against people who buy the Funkos. I have no I get it. They're cool collectibles. I like the fact that they make them for literally everything. I just feel I wish they captured a little bit more of various pop culture-y things that they show. I just don't want when I think of Naruto, I don't think of Naruto making a blank face, Yeah. I want to see him grinning and
arms back, ready to go.
Yeah, arms back.
Just straight Naruto running. All right, and to get to our final topic of Pokemon news, Pokemon Masters, a game that Jim has before said he's completely given up on. I don't think I ever even got really started on it, to be fair. I've just had, every time I've gone to pick it up, I go, because it's right next to Pogo on my phone. So I'm Pokemon Masters, Pokemon Go. It just happens every time. But we have a new synced pair, I believe, to add to your roster. So do you want to walk us through that, Hoffer?
Yeah, it's Lyra and Chikorita. Lyra was the central character of Pokemon Crystal and Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver. So that's your female, the female character, or no, not for Pokemon Crystal, just for Heart Gold and Soul Silver. I forget who is it for Gold and Silver, but it was a different one. But she's got Chikorita. This is very much a defensive pairing, so she can protect with Light Screen, and if you evolve Chikorita away into Meganium, the move that they learn is boosted by the number of like buffs that's on Meganium. So, that's a pretty good like in-game thing. I mean, honestly, my issue with Pokemon Masters is I've kind of already run out of things to do. I'm not a person who grinds for the sake of grinding. So I've already like reached like where they've run out of story in the game, and like all the training events are really lame. Like it's just like, oh, do these 3 battles and you'll get extra XP. And it's like, okay, cool. What do I use these for? What do I use the extra XP for? And they're like, well, we can't. We really don't have a good answer for that.
We're not there yet.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
That's all right. Well, maybe Masters will give us some more story updates. Maybe bring in some Team Rocket or something to get us interested. But when we come back from this break, we are going to be talking about the biggest Pokemon news. I am so excited to talk about this. Yeah. After 22 years and more than 1,000 episodes, Ash Ketchum has become a Pokemon champion. Let's talk about it after the break. All right, Hoffer.
It happened.
Ash Ketchum finally did it. Yep. He is a Pokemon champion.
He entered the Alola region as a boy, and he left it as a boy with the trophy.
As a boy, never a man. He's still like 10 years old, but after 22 years, it is mind-blowing. I also feel so old, but after 22 years, he has finally won a regional Pokemon League. Like, I know, as someone who's kept up with the Pokemon anime, I've been painfully aware of that fact. But it was so funny when this news came out, like this over the last weekend, Pokemon Sun and Moon, for those who aren't aware, it was the final match. Ash won. He won the league. He's got the trophy.
It was great.
It's happened. It was an emotional moment. But there were so many people online who were like, he hadn't done that yet. Like people who had stopped watching, they were shocked.
I was actually kind of surprised how big of a deal it was on the internet.
It was insane.
I mean, me and you knew it was going to happen because the Pokemon Company leaked it beforehand.
Yeah.
They released the trailer for the episode, and it clearly shows Ash holding like the victory trophy. And so like we're like, oh yeah. So cool. And then like it happened, and like the news started to spread, and it went viral.
Yeah.
Like, it legitimately, like, ESPN was posting about it.
There are, like, clips of, like a bunch, like, I have that, like, written on my notes, like, ESPN, CNN, like, so many of these actual news, like, worldwide organizations, BBC, they were, like, they were covering it. And my favorite thing is they weren't covering it, like, pop culture entertainment news. They were covering it legitimately, like, sports news. Like,
it was
they were
crazy.
It was
my favorite thing was like after 22 years, 10-year-old Ash Ketchum has won.
Yeah, and they're like, this is like like I said, there's that one tweet that's gone super viral, and it's like after he has like 22 years of experience, being only 10 years old, and that makes him like the perfect job applicant for like companies these days. And I was like, oh man, but yeah, he's won. I mean, for me. I mean, like I got like, again, I know we've talked about this in previous episodes. If you've not, caught up with this podcast, the biggest singular issue I have with the Pokemon anime isn't its animation. It's not its story. It's not anything about that. It's the fact that I can't watch it simultaneously in the US when the anime industry clearly has that capability. So I'd wake up and watch like a YouTube stream of someone in Japan watching this episode so I could see what happened. And I got like legitimately weepy, like watching him, because like he was so happy, like when he was doing this match. And then when he won, Ash was like, wait, did I seriously just win?
Yeah, I know. He was absolutely shocked by it. And it was great.
like, like the whole thing, and people are like, well, he's a Pokemon master now. And it's like, it's not even that. Now we get to see him go up against his mentor in the Alola region, who he doesn't actually realize as his mentor because he goes by the Masked Royals. Like, for those not following the Pokemon anime this season, one of my favorite parts about the Pokemon anime is he finally has, like, a father figure. Like, so he's been living with the Pokemon professor of the Alola region, Professor Kukui. And Professor Kukui lives a double life in which he's also the Masked Royal, who is like this like famous Pokemon trainer that wrestles, who battles wearing a lucha mask. And so his reward is that he gets to go up against the Masked Royal, which he's already done like 3 times and lost.
Yeah, he's just like...
that's going to be his big loss for the season because, you can't have Ash leave a region without, like, getting his butt kicked.
Yeah, he's going to lose this next match.
Yeah, absolutely. But they can't take the trophy away from him. He's finally accomplished, something that has plagued him. And, like, I got into an argument with one of our editors, Roland, and Roland was like, "Oh, Christian, why, why we need to write an article about how this isn't his first real Pokemon League one." I'm like, "But it is." He's like, "But what about the Orange Islands?" I'm like, "They don't count."
Orange Islands, Battle Frontier, like, stop bringing them up.
Yeah. Like the Battle Frontier was closer. At least that involved actual Pokemon battles. There was just no tournament at the end of it.
Yeah, it wasn't quite there.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely his biggest win to date because Ash and his core 4 Pokemon, because that was Pikachu, Bulbasaur, Squirtle, and Charizard went and beat up a bunch of legendary Pokemon.
Yeah.
Which
Pikachu has beat so many legendary and mythical Pokemon at this point. Like Pikachu, Ash's Pikachu is, it's just the strongest Pokemon in the world. Honestly, I don't, it just is.
He's got, there was the meme where it's like, yeah, this is the 3rd one that he's beaten. I will say, so he beat Regice in the Battle Frontier Valley. He got to Latios in a draw. They knocked each other out. So, that was in his battle against Tobias, which was one of the biggest effing jokes I've ever seen.
Yes.
So, that was to the point where Ash actually had all these great Pokemon and he was bringing them in. So he brings them into the Sinnoh League. So he was rotating in all of his freaking powerhouse Pokemon. He's like, okay, I'm going to use Charizard, I'm going to use Sceptile, I'm going to use literally my best of the best Pokemon, and we're going to go and do this thing. And so then he goes up against a guy with the Dark Ray. And it's how, what even is that? And so his big accomplishment in that, league was he was the first person to actually beat Dark Ray in the tournament, ever. Dark Ray was 100-0, and it took 5 of his Pokemon to defeat Dark Ray. It literally took all of his strongest Pokemon just to do it, which was an accomplishment, But after that, nonsense. I was so ticked off by that one. I remember it's he's never gonna win, and then he started to regress because he wasn't bringing in any of his older Pokemon, and X and Y he dealt with a bunch of bullshit. There's my one. I get one curse per episode.
Gotcha. Understand.
And that one, I still get really.
It's been interesting, hearing people talking about this win because so many people have, that anger, that feeling and attachment of missing out with Pokemon X and Y, that a lot of people were surprisingly angry that Ash won Sun and Moon. They were really? You're going to have him win on this series? Which, for those who aren't caught up with the anime, the animation and the storytelling of this series, in my opinion, makes it, the best of the Pokemon anime. But there are a lot of, anime fans or Pokemon fans, or just fans in general who take issue with how the series look, so they were quite upset that Ash won here rather than in a more traditional Pokemon anime like X and Y or Black and White or something, which I don't agree with.
I think the issue that some people had was that The Alola League in the anime matches that of the games, in which this is like the inaugural tournament. This is brand new. They've never done something like this before. So I think that the fact that it doesn't have the prestige of like these more established Pokemon leagues, but also I think that people just see the animation, see like the more slapsticky style. They just assume that somehow Sun and Moon is less legitimate than the other Pokemon anime. But you have to remember, in this freaking anime, not only did Ash raise a legendary Pokemon from a baby.
Yep.
He's raised, he's gotten, he evolved into, right? Because he evolved in this, right? I can't remember. But, he had an Ultra Beast for a while, and then he used freaking Melmetal. So he's had a mythical,
he won the tournament with my metal son.
Yeah. I mean, like Ash was clearly the strongest trainer in this league. Like, we should all be grateful for the fact that this was probably the anime that showed like how far Ash has come.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, that's the thing. He was like, oh, look at this lost legendary Pokemon. I shall raise it as my own. And no one was like, maybe we should let someone else do it. Like the Pokemon were like, yes, I accept this. Like, this one is my master.
I mean, yeah, if I had the choice, if I was a Pokemon, I would absolutely want to be with Ash. But you bring up a great point, because now, a lot of people were saying, oh, he's won. He's done. He could retire at the great old age of 10. But, I mean, the voice actress for Ash in Japan, Rika Matsumoto, I mean, she said that he still has a lot left to do, that his journey to becoming a master isn't necessitated or, fulfilled by becoming a champion. So the big question is for anime fans and just Pokemon lovers in general is, what is Ash going to do now?
I know what he's going to do now.
What do you think he's going to do now?
So now he's a master of Pokemon. Now it's time for him to become a master of life. He's got this girl who is absolutely head over heels for him, who has shifted her entire life's goals, in order, inspired by him directly, gave him his first mechanical kiss. It's time for Ash to meet back up with Serena and give that relationship a try. Bring Serena back. God damn it. Bring her back.
All right, so we have Hoffer. He wants Ash to now begin exploring love. I honestly don't really know. So for those who have listened to our episodes previously of this podcast, in 2020, a new Pokemon anime has already been confirmed. It will visit multiple regions. They specifically have said Galar, Kanto, and Johto. It'll feature all the starters, from all the different regions. The big question, though, has been, what's Ash's role going to be in it? And that became a really big topic of discussion after he won the Alola League. So, what I really want to see is him, have to, go back now that he's been, a champion. Now he has to go back to each region and, fight those champions again. To begin that, conversation of, what does it take to become a master now? Most radically, though, I want this next anime to age him up. I want there to be a time skip and him be 15.
15-year-old Ash.
I know. I don't even necessarily want him to be an adult. I'll take it if he's 13. 15 would be optimal. But I just want to see a little bit older, because then we could see older, Brock and Misty when he goes to visit his, original region. We could see Serena again, an older Serena. At that point, it would be a little less creepy to see their love story. They're just a little bit older Hoffer. So
that is, I was making a bunch of jokes about this on the internet over the weekend. Someone was like, aren't they 11? And you're talking about them getting together. I'm like, listen, this is a freaking anime. That happens all the time.
It does.
I'm not saying sexualize them. I'm just saying give them a love story. That's all I want. Actually, you know what I would like to see happen next on the Pokemon anime?
What?
I want Ash and his mother to finally go, where the hell has Dad been all this time?
That too. What if his dad is the ultimate Pokemon master who's been hidden this whole time? And to become the Pokemon master, Ash must defeat his father.
That would be great. Like,
There
actually,
you go.
Giovanni is your father.
Oh, please no. That would be the worst. I feel so bad for him. Oh, that would break my heart. Well, we will find out when this 2020 Pokemon anime comes out. I mean, we still have like more than a month left of this,
Yeah.
like 1 to 3 more months left of Sun and Moon before this new Pokemon anime is going to come out. So we still got a lot more to do in Alola, I guess, or to set up what
Yeah.
this next anime will be about. Just don't take away his trophy. That's all I ask.
Nope.
He's got to keep
I
it.
made the joke, like in the Sun and Moon, the game, you have to be 11 years old to start your island trials and stuff like that. So, all of this is going to get invalidated because Ash, because Ash is still 10.
That's heartbreaking. Maybe Alola is like Korea in the same way that you're like a year older there, than you are in like the rest of the world. That's what I'm gonna believe. So, well, that is our anime news. We hope Ash either gets in a relationship or grows older this next anime season. We will see. But now we have come to the long-awaited part of this episode. Hoffer, it's time for the Poke Fact of the week. Hit me with it.
So let's talk about Farfetch'd. So, we had a pretty big Farfetch'd news this week. But here's the question. Farfetch'd is generally thought to be a rare Pokemon. In the original Pokemon games, you actually couldn't catch a Farfetch'd. You had to trade for it. And, generally speaking, he's been about that rare, where you can only get a Farfetch'd every once in a while, only like one location, or you have to trade for it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a canonical reason for that. What is it? Silence.
There's silence because I was trying to think of like a pun to go with Farfetch'd, but I'm not that clever today. So I'm assuming since this is a Poke Fact of the week, it's a horrifying answer. So please explain.
Terrifying. In the Pokemon anime, when Ash first encounters a Farfetch'd, the Pokedex pops up and goes, "Oh, Farfetch'd! Boy, that Pokemon's rare because we like to eat them, and we season it with his little leek sword." That's right, people hunt Farfetch'd, they cook them, and then they use his beloved leek, cut it up, and then season fried Farfetch'd with it.
That's horrifying. Wait. So does this mean that Sirfetch'd and Pokemon Sword is used in the curry that it's talked about?
Probably.
Oh no, please. Oh, this is the worst. I can't.
I know, it's terrible.
He could make so much curry. He's 257 pounds.
This curry, you could feed an entire city with one Sirfetch'd curry. Well, and Sirfetch'd retires from battle when his leek lance breaks or withers. Do you think that he just goes and nobly sacrifices himself? My battle career is over, and just walks to the curry pot and jumps in.
I'm just so upset right now. that poor bird. Stop eating Farfetch'd. Also, stop using Farfetch'd, one earthly possession, his leek, to eat him with. That's such an insult.
Part about it, it's it uses the leek to season. It's this Farfetch'd would sure taste good with the thing that it carries around with it. What horrible people are in the Pokemon universe. No wonder there's no adults here.
Again, as we say, you peel back Pokemon just like a centimeter, it falls apart. It becomes the most horrifying dystopia you could imagine.
I know. It's terrible.
Oh my gosh.
So much.
Well.
Ta-da! Pokemon Fact of the Week.
That's... Okay, so basically all I can assume is once you get to a certain point in Pokemon Sword, you've beaten the game, you do some accomplishment involving Sirfetch'd, and you're going to unlock a special curry recipe. And it won't come out and directly say it's Sirfetch'd, but you're going to be Sirfetch'd certainly had lots to do with this curry, or it's going to do something like that.
Again, he just disappeared.
Yeah, it's not going to come out and directly say it. But we will all know. You will know. I will know. The world will know that Sirfetch'd has been put into that curry. Well,
Oh, man.
now I'm horrified. Thank you yet again, Hoffer, for another terrifying, honestly terrifying Pokefact of the week.
Yeah.
Do you feel
You're
proud of
welcome.
yourself?
I am. I'm very proud of myself. I'm always proud of these things.
Good. Well, it's definitely a favorite. That's really all the news we have for today. A lot of anime news to look forward to. Sword and Shield. We're getting closer. How many days is it now?
7 days less than the last time I said it.
Look at that math. Look at that math coming.
Yeah, I know.
Coming in from Hoffer.
I'm a banker.
Well, I mean, it's coming out in November, so we still have a little bit of time left. I'm still, wanting to see more. This was a really great Pokemon reveal for Sirfetch'd. It definitely checked all of our boxes of like wanting to know more about the Galar region. So would love to see some more. Still waiting to see the soluble evolutions. So
Those will probably come next month in October.
all right.
Uh,
We're taking bets on it soon because
Yeah.
I'm desperate. I'm desperate for an update. But if you have liked what you've heard today, me and Hoffer's ranting our strict anti-Geodude stance on all things Pokemon. We have tons of podcast episodes that you can listen to. This is episode 21. We've been doing this for 21 weeks. We have them available to listen to on iTunes, on Spotify. You can listen to them via Alexa if you just ask your lovely companion to play Comicbook.com's podcast. A Wild Podcast has appeared. You can find us wherever, and if you leave us a 5-star review on iTunes, occasionally we will read your review here. If it's 5 stars and 5 stars only, we will send you a very sweet t-shirt. A t-shirt which even Hoffer hasn't gotten yet.
I know, it's awful.
The day he gets his shirt, we're just going to have a special episode to talk about it.
The title will be like, Christian gets a shirt.
Christian gets the shirt. Jim sent out a huge round of shirts, a week or two ago. So a lot of those readers and listeners are starting to get their shirts. If you're wanting to keep up with all things Pokemon in between our new episodes, me and Hoffer read about Pokemon all the time. It's literally Hoffer's job. It's literally his job title. So
yeah, I am a paid Pokemonologist.
There you go.
It's on my business card. I am a Pokemon journalist.
Well, there you go. And it's me doing anime, editor, and managing. I write about anything involving Ash Ketchum. So there's that. Yep. If you would like to talk with us more about Pokemon, we are on Twitter. Look at that. You can find me at Megan Peters CB on Twitter to talk about Vaporeon or your hatred for Geodude.
Yes, and I can be found at @CHofferCBus to talk about all things Bulbasaur and my hatred of Geodude.
All right. Well, that's all we have for this week. Please pay attention, subscribe, and look for our next podcast episodes. Jim will be back before long, so you could expect revenge for all the Geodude hate. But until then, this has been us signing off for Comicbook.com. Bye.